What's up, True Crime World? You're here with Luminol on the Wall, and I'm Bevy.
And I'm Becky. And in today's case, we talk about a man with many mistresses. When one woman becomes tired of playing second fiddle to the rest, she gives an ultimatum that would ultimately cost her her life. This is a case of Sameena Imam. Listeners' discretion is advised.
So, Becky, we were just talking, and we thought it important to note and mention some religious followers and listeners that we have from the U.S.
Yeah.
We just wanted to say thank you. We don't know who you are, but you're not our friend or family, so
it means a lot.
It means a lot to us that you guys tune in every week. Like, thanks.
Yeah, you make us feel so good about ourselves. Like, thanks so much.
Yeah, so anyways, just thought we'd mention that quickly, and
whoever you are, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Reach out to us.
Please, we'd love to say hi.
Yeah.
Anyways, on that.
Just us sounding desperate. Talk to us, please.
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 Call me.
Call me.
Call me. All right, well, on that note, Bev, let's get into our story today.
Let's do it.
It is very interesting, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because there are two significant dates in this story that just happen to be one Christmas, because, you know, December, and my birthday.
What?
So that's why I chose this case, because I'm like...
Well, your birthday was yesterday. So,
yeah.
Like, happy belated, Beck.
Thank you.
Even though we've celebrated your birthday 2 times.
I am such a lucky gal. I get, like, a birthday month. What could be better?
Nothing, literally. That's why you chose these topics for your podcast today.
Exactly. So I can't wait to show you how, like, why those dates are important to this case.
Okay.
I thought it very funny, just with the timing and all. So anyways, let's get into it, Bev. In 2013, Sameena worked at a Costco as a regional marketing boss for a handful of their locations. Sameena met Roger Cooper at a Costco location on the outskirts of Coventry, where Roger was a store manager. The pair quickly became entangled in an inappropriate workplace relationship that was against Costco work policies. At that time, Roger was involved with one other mistress, as well as a long-term relationship with a woman named Susan Potts.
So he had 3 girlfriends?
Yes.
Ah.
Little playa.
Little playa.
Little playa hater. Don't hate on me.
I knew what song you were referring to. I'm a gangster. I'm a straight up G. Yeah, I knew it.
We shall sing no more because it's highly inappropriate.
Totally. But if you know,
you know.
You know.
So the affair with Sameena went on for almost 2 years. And by that point, Sameena was tired of being his side piece. And she actually gave Roger an ultimatum to break up with his mistress and long-term girlfriend Susan, or he could break up with her. This ultimatum really frustrated Roger for many reasons. One, he didn't want to break up with any of the women in his life, but he was also fearful that if Sameena did break up with him, that she could potentially inform their employers of their affair.
Yeah, she would have no invested interest to keep it secret anymore.
Well, exactly, right?
So I think his fear has some grounds, Rebecca.
Yeah, absolutely. And everyone in his life said he actually really loved his job.
Right. He didn't want to lose that shit.
Yeah, he took a lot of pride in it, so the fear that he had about losing it was really real. However, after thinking about the ultimatum long and hard, Roger chose Sameena.
Whoa.
Or that's at least what he told her.
Oh, God. In true player fashion. Liar.
Exactly. Liar.
Just saying.
Liar.
Oh my gosh. Look at us with the quotes. Hey, Chloe. What's up, Chloe? What's up? I mean, I don't really want to be laughing about that. I feel bad. That's probably a terrible time in her life.
She was a meme.
She was a meme.
Liar.
Yeah, I mean, fair. It was meme worthy. It's quotable. It's quotable.
If you're a meme, it's fair game.
Okay. Touche, sister.
Yeah. So on Christmas Eve in 2014, Sameena was super excited and was preparing to spend her very first Christmas with Roger. She's also looking forward to the future together. She had rented a hotel room in Birmingham and had gotten a bottle of Bellini and some last-minute items to celebrate the occasion. On Boxing Day, Sameena was supposed to join her family for Christmas dinner. She no-showed them. And this was just very odd for Sameena, and her family became very worried. They get in contact with the police, and the investigation begins immediately. They first go to her work because...
That was her last known whereabouts?
Exactly. She was there on Christmas Eve. And as they spoke to the people she worked with, they soon learned that Roger and Sameena were having an illicit affair. So they knew exactly who they needed to talk to first. Roger.
Right. So also just kind of saying they thought they were being all sneaky and their whole workplace knows about this illicit affair. The fuck?
Oh, yeah. I actually read in a very tiny article, Roger was banking on Sameena not telling anyone, but you know women.
Yeah.
They always have that one friend.
That one friend that isn't so fucking loyal. You know, kind of like a little teacup pouring out the tea to everyone else. I'm proud of myself for that one. It just came up like super fast and it was good.
Jeez, Beth. I commend you for that one, sister.
Thank you, dear sister.
Yes. Isn't it funny that you made a teapot reference and his girlfriend's name is Susan Potts?
Oh,
like Mrs. Potts.
I didn't even think of that. Hey, we should tell everyone we went to a high school play for Becky's birthday of Beauty and the Beast. A high school play.
Musical. It was adorable.
It was adorable.
They worked so hard on it.
They did.
And some of those girls,
talented.
They will go far.
They will go super far. And we'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that.
Okay there, Mrs. Potts. We shall carry on.
Alrighty-o. Oh, God.
Okay, so Bev, when the police brought Roger in for questioning, he told investigators that he actually didn't know Sameena all that well. And the last time that he saw her was at 4 p.m. on Christmas Eve. He'd given a bunch of his coworkers a hug for the holidays and was on his way.
Wow.
He then drove by himself to his brother's house in Leicester to drop off an early Christmas gift. When the police ended up following up with Roger's brother, David, he told detectives that Roger showed up to his house after work solo. So their stories matched.
Right. Also, just again, liar. How can he be so dismissive of a woman that he was having an affair with? I barely knew her. You knew her well enough to,
Boinker.
Yeah. Liar.
This is our theme today. Liars.
Yeah.
Well, exactly. So the police hadn't heard it straight from him and obviously not Sameena.
Right.
She's missing.
She's nowhere to be found.
So they have to do their due diligence and be like, is that just a rumor? Are people making that up?
We need to check out their stories.
Yeah, like find out how much of a relationship they really had.
Yeah, exactly.
What Roger had told detectives was that on his way to his brother's place, he was only on the road maybe 5 minutes after leaving work when he got a call from Sameena. And she said, "I'll see you later tonight then." But Roger told investigators that he had zero intentions of meeting up with her. And he had told her that on the phone call. He said the call lasted at most 2 minutes, and that was the last time that he spoke with her on the phone.
It's just a little conspicuous, I would think, because he's saying he doesn't know her, but yet she's giving him a ring at the end of his shift to meet up. It seems like there's some pieces missing to his story already, at least if I'm thinking from the police's perspective.
Mm-hmm. Well, exactly. Clearly, he's not being 100% truthful.
Yeah.
And now they have to put these pieces together, right? He also told investigators that she didn't seem as upset as he thought she would have been, which led Roger to believe that Sameena still thought that he was going to be showing up at the hotel. So things are starting to come out. They're like, oh, so you do know her better.
Oh, so why would she be upset if you couldn't meet up with her if you guys barely knew each other?
Also, why would you be meeting her at a hotel if you barely knew her?
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, any grown person can kind of put the two and two together that hotels kind of correlate with sexy time.
Yeah.
I mean, in a lot of instances, right?
Yeah. It's not like you're going there just to jump on the bed.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless
Literally.
they're really bouncy.
Unless they have like a nice swimming area. We're going for a late night swim. But still, like, does he think the cops are dumb?
I think so. So his interview gets a little weirder because as he's telling the investigators this, he is very emotional. He's sobbing. Some detectives call it wailing.
Wailing. Oh my gosh.
Did I sound like a whale?
No.
Wailing?
Whale. Like he's like, whale. Am I sounding like a whale? Yes, Becky, for sure.
Oh, thank you.
Good job acting
Like a whale.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so he's very emotional, which seems out of place.
100% it is. And then when asked a question, he all of a sudden like stops, answers the question, gives a small explanation, and then continues wailing. And the police detectives kind of start to think you're overreacting.
Right.
Because as of right now, no one actually knows her whereabouts.
No one even knows if she's like in danger or anything bad happened. Like she could just be taking a little R&R and acting a little out of character and doing that.
Yeah, maybe.
Not showing up to her family's Boxing Day dinner or whatever.
Exactly. Like maybe you just broke her freaking heart and she wanted to get out of the town.
Yeah. Or you know something more than what we know, and it's coming out in your emotional response during this interview.
That's a possibility.
Did you like how I just put on my psychology hat right there? Yes. No. I'm just kidding.
I think anyone could have thought that, Bevy.
Shut your fucking mouth, Rebecca.
Well, I'm glad
a
you
genius.
paid.
I'm a genius. I'm a psychology genius. No.
Sure you are.
Yeah, no, I know. Like, that's obvious. I was joking. God damn it, Becky. Way to make me feel stupid.
Sorry it didn't land like the teapot.
Hey, you can't win them all.
Don't
Call me names. Don't go there. Don't do it.
Your face is so funny right now. Oh, you're the best. So, continuing on with Roger's interrogation
And his wailing.
he tells detectives that he actually received a text message from Sameena at 7 p.m. that night. And he pulled out his phone and he read it to them. And it said, "I'm fuming. Full stop. I'm going to where I am truly cared for." So the investigators are like, okay, well, like, we don't know her that well. Like, what does that mean to you, Roger?
Right. That's a great question.
Yeah. And he said he thought that she was going to her friends in Birmingham and eventually she would make her way to London because she wanted to see her family and specifically her mom for Christmas. So again, we're coming around to the fact that he said, I don't know her that well, but now he knows
Where her comfort places are.
Yeah, like her friend in Birmingham, her family in London.
I mean, her family is not like I feel like anyone would be like, yeah, maybe that means her family. But the friend thing and the fact that he knows where each of these people live, like, that's a whole nother thing altogether.
Well, exactly. It tells the detectives, like, you know a lot more about her than you are letting on, but you're letting a little bit slip here and there.
Enough for us to
second guess everything you're saying.
Precisely.
Mm-hmm. So because of this discrepancy, the police get the okay to search Roger and his brother's phone. As well, they have started the process to get Sameena's phone records. And when they do, they are able to tell where Sameena last traveled. And where that is is Leicester. And that is where David lives.
Oh, shit.
They were able to determine that she initially drives away from work in her own car at the exact same time as Roger.
Oh my God. And they go to the same fucking place.
Yes, they do. She ends up parking her car, and they're able to tell that she gets into Roger's car, and that together they then travel to see David.
Mic drop moment.
Right.
So he's a big fat liar.
Yes.
Holy crap, Beck.
Mm-hmm.
That is like, if I were an investigator, that would be one of those like aha moments that you're looking for, especially in a missing persons case, to have that information like right off the bat, like an investigator's dream.
Well, exactly, because it's like, I just caught you in a major lie.
Yeah.
She was actually with you up until this point.
Yes,
and
exactly.
We have the phone evidence
to prove it.
Now, when the detectives actually get to analyze Roger and David's phones, they notice that there are some very oddly encrypted messages between the two of them. And one of them is in broken French. And a couple of them use Star Wars analogies to what the police think is they're referring about Sameena.
Whoa.
Mm-hmm.
So they have, what is that little like code that people use?
Braille?
No, Becky. No, Becky.
Why are you wiggling
Braille?
your fingers?
Because I'm trying to... because I'm trying to envision and trying to like...
Or are those your thinking fingers?
No, yeah, those are my thinking fingers. These weren't like... I'm trying to think of the word Braille. Becky, that's just like literally a tool for blind people. Becky. No. What's the like secret code that people use?
A secret code?
Secret code. Secret code.
A password?
No. Like, oh.
Stop with the fingers.
I can't help it. I'm thinking. What is that code called? Damn it. I wish Craig was here. One sec. So I called Craig because Craig is my human dictionary.
He's the knower of all things.
And this is bothering the shit out of me. Anyway, so y'all, the word I'm thinking of, surprise to Becky, not Braille, cryptography, which is the practice and study of techniques for secure communication in the presence of adversarial behavior. More generally, cryptography is about constructing and analyzing protocols that prevent third parties or the public from reading private messages. Yay to Craig. Thank you, Jesus, for Craig. I call him, and the first word that he comes up with is the correct one.
He's like, oh, is that cryptography?
I was like, the fuck?
Oh, okay, sure.
Google it. Exactly what I'm talking about.
He just knows so many things.
He knows so many things. So anyways. Back to
the podcast.
Back to talking about how these brothers used cryptography to talk about Sameena using Star Wars references, which is like
crazy.
Not so cryptic. I feel like anyone who's a Star Wars fan might, just maybe, be able to figure it out.
Yeah, be like, oh, the Death Star? Yeah, that's Sameena.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Vader? David.
Oh, snap.
I'll tell you the specifics in a bit, but...
Yeah, I need to know now.
Exactly. So, what the police realize within these messages is that the two brothers had actually made plans to kill Sameena 2 weeks before Christmas on December 12th, my birthday.
Whoa.
Right? Yeah, whoa.
So together,
right.
They made plans to kill her.
Yes.
And it's evident in these
cryptic,
shall we say, messages.
Yes. And what their plan was, Roger had told Sameena that following the Christmas party she was going to, she was to meet him at a hotel. He told her he had booked a room and had a surprise for her. The truly shocking surprise is that he wasn't actually going to be there, and there was no room booked.
So she just shows up
Yes.
and is like, wow.
What a dick.
What a dick.
It's not even a room rented, like
got stood up hardcore.
hardcore.
Holy crap.
Oh, I know. I'd be devastated. So Bev, obviously Sameena had no idea about these plans, or she, I'm sure, would have never have gone to that hotel. But when she got there, David was waiting in a car outside the hotel, and he was just like oh no, what's the word?
Oh
no.
shit. Get Craig on speed dial.
A lion in waiting? Is that the phrase?
Sure.
That sounds right, yeah.
good. Yeah, I feel like it.
Anyways, he was waiting to abduct her.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So he just needed a secure location that he knew she would be.
Without Sameena catching on that something weird was going on.
Right. That's terrifying.
It really is, right? Like, she had no idea. And the whole time David was waiting outside, he stayed in communication with Roger. During this process, some of the code phrases that were used was Death Star complete, stay on target, you are expected, Vader.
Oh my God.
Mm-hmm. Now, this plan ultimately failed, though, Bev. The detectives are not 100% sure as to what went wrong, but they think that Sameena, or they know Sameena had taken a taxi to the hotel, but apparently the taxi driver pulled up right close to the entrance of the hotel. So they think that David didn't have a good opportunity to take her.
Right.
So they had to call it off.
Right. So maybe David and Roger were hoping that she drove to the hotel and had to walk from the parkade and thus would have an opportunity to abduct her on the journey to and from her car.
That's what I'm thinking. They didn't count on her taking a cab. So when David saw that he had no opportunity, he actually texted Roger in broken French. And the text said, "There's no point, no score. The window is closed."
Right. Which, whoa.
Yeah, he's like, I don't have an opportunity. I cannot follow through with our plan, man. Now, 2 weeks later, on Christmas Eve, the brothers had set up another opportunity. As we know, Sameena and Roger head to David's home based on GPS. They know that they got there around 5 p.m. And around 6:25 that evening, GPS shows that Roger and Sameena's phones are heading back to Coventry. So they were only there for an hour and a half. But it does give the detectives a good idea of the timeline of that evening and where Sameena's last whereabouts were. And then around 7 p.m., Roger received a text message that we talked about in his first interview from Sameena.
Saying she was
upset.
Irate, basically.
Yes, and that she needed to go spend time with people she loved. So even though she just traveled back
with him,
she all of a sudden was pissed.
Makes zero sense.
0 cents. What also makes no sense at all is that that text message was sent from Sameena's phone, but it was at Roger's house.
They tracked it to...
Yes.
Oh my God. So any true crime junkie knows Roger was getting a little handsy with Sameena's phone.
Yes, he was. So now the detectives are very concerned. This is where Sameena's trail ends. And they have the last people that she's known to be in contact with or around have been lying to them the whole time.
Exactly. So things are sketchy as fuck and they need to continue investigating.
Absolutely. And in a stroke of luck, they actually find Sameena's vehicle on January 4th, and it was parked on Lutton Street in a residential neighborhood. It was 65 miles from Coventry. It's noted her handbag, suitcase, and all of the things that she had brought with her were missing.
Oh.
Then the police realized that there were absolutely no fingerprints in the car, which
raises red flags because in anyone's car, your fingerprints are going to be everywhere.
Everywhere.
So looks like that was wiped clean.
Well, exactly, because hers weren't even in there, and they should be. They also made note that when the car was found, the driver's seat was pushed way far back for someone who is much larger than Sameena. It's worthy to note that Roger and David were some big boys. They were 6'5" and 6'7".
Whoa.
While Sameena was only 5'2".
Oh my God. So the cops are thinking, well, Sameena wouldn't be the last one to drive this.
Yeah, she wouldn't be reaching those pedals.
Hell no. Like, I'm 5'1", you're 5'3", and we both know we sit pretty close up to that steering wheel.
That's right. We couldn't drive any other way. So the investigators are concerned with this, and they realize Sameena was not the last person driving this vehicle.
Yeah, and it's out in buckfuck nowhere. So why the fuck is her car there in the first place?
That's the big question, isn't it? And so because of this, detectives realize they need to talk to David and Roger again. They need some more answers. That story you told earlier? Crack a shit. Let's get to the meat and potatoes of this investigation. So when Roger is questioned again, he sticks to the exact same story. But this time, when they bring David in, he has a bit of a different story to tell the investigators. He tells them that after his brother showed up to drop off his gift, he left 3 minutes later. He hears a knock on the door and he opens the door thinking his brother forgot something. However, he sees this woman. Although he has never met her before, he puts 2 and 2 together and believes that this is Sameena, the woman with whom his brother is having an affair with.
Which, let me just state right now, this story, yet again, makes no sense because Roger said he didn't know her. Second of all, the GPS signal shows Roger leaving 1.5 hours after he arrives. So even though he's changed the story to try and make it make sense a little bit more, it still makes 0 sense.
Right, and the investigators know it too. They're like, we have so much information. Do you think we're dumb?
Yeah.
Do you think we haven't looked into that? Are you even aware that that's evidence? Like, what the hell's wrong with you? He says Sameena pushes her way in, and she is looking all over the house for Roger, and she is absolutely distraught. David offers to call Roger and have him come back. However, Sameena ultimately just plops herself down on the couch and starts crying. She explains to David that she's really upset and that Roger was supposed to meet her. Throughout their conversation, David offers her a cup of tea. However, at this point in the interrogation, David just cracks. He tells investigators that he was kind of tired of her crying and went into the kitchen, got out a bottle of chloroform that he bought off of the TV, like an infomercial, because who does that, and thought, I'll just shut her up a bit. But what ended up happening is that she actually was suffocated by the chloroform and she died on his couch. I think the odd thing about this story is that, one, who has chloroform just sitting in their house like for a casual day?
I'm sorry, would you like some chloroform with that biscuit?
That's right. I'll heat it up for you.
Yeah, who the fuck has chloroform?
Right?
People with evil intentions, okay?
Yeah. Only evil intentions.
Am I the only one thinking, like, what did he put in that tea?
I was thinking that, but remember that was, he cracks and it was chloroform instead of tea.
Oh, okay. So he just, like, fibbed and then was like, just kidding. It was chloroform.
Yeah, that's his cryptogram.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Cryptogram.
Makes sense.
Cryptography. Anyways.
So, now that Sameena was laying on his couch dead, he decided to put her in her car. And over the next couple days, he decided he was driving around with her and just trying to figure out where could he leave the car and her. Eventually, he realized, I have no idea where to leave her, and he brings her back to his place. Then he sees a sleeping bag and decides that he's going to put her in it. Then he tells the investigators that on Christmas, he calls some guy using a disposable SIM card and gets him to come to his house and take the body away and go dispose of her in the Woodlands area somewhere. Now, this is the tricky part because the police don't actually know where Sameena is or what happened to her. They only have David's word, so they spend a ton of man hours searching random woodland areas in and around Leicester. So they waste a ton of time because they don't find her. What really disgusts the police about this interview was the fact that David was so cold about everything. He even at one point referred to Sameena as it and that.
Oh my gosh.
And I don't know if that's just a way to like
dissociate from what happened and what he did to her,
or if he's just that cold and doesn't give a fuck.
Right, but seriously, that is so cold and gross.
Well, exactly, right? Blech.
I do wonder if this story is also fabricated because he's really placing Roger away from the crime scene. Like, he's not implicating his brother at all. Which, do they just have like a really strong brotherly bond of sorts? Or is this actually what happened?
Well, I'm glad you kind of touched on that, Bev, because in one of the documentaries I watched about this, they had a psychologist talking about the brothers' relationship. And they kind of said the same, like they were touching on that a bit, the same as you are. Are they just that close and his brother was protecting him?
Yeah.
Did his brother kill Sameena for Roger? Or was this his own action and own thoughts?
Yeah, exactly. Because why else would you just totally implicate yourself in a murder and leave out your brother entirely? Especially when we see them like communicating over text, you know, we kind of see that there's this like plan between the two of them. Maybe David is actually more psychopathic and doesn't mind murdering somebody, and Roger just needs this done. And David's there to be like, I'm a willing participant. Who knows? Kind of
like,
weird,
you're
though.
my brother, I'll help you, and I get to be evil. Or on the flip side, is Roger a controlling, like, alpha male?
Right. And he's like manipulating
his brother
and
to
kind
do
of
his dirty work.
coercing.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I didn't think of it in reverse like that.
Yeah. And the reason why that could be important and maybe the case is because David has zero motive to kill this woman.
Yeah,
Roger
exactly.
has multiple motives.
Multiple.
Well, Bev, the police then get their hands on CCTV cameras. They're able to see what David was actually up to over those couple days. And although David says he didn't really mean to kill her, the police believe that this is not a crime of passion. It was not an accident. They know that this story is not 100% truthful.
Yeah, because it's premeditated. They're texts, right?
Yeah.
Like they literally tried to do this once before.
Exactly. So combine that with the CCTV cameras, they know that there's more to this and they have to kind of wait it out, hope for something.
Why? What do they notice on the CCTV cameras?
They just see, like how David said he was driving around in her car.
Yeah.
Looking for places to leave it and her body. They just realize it didn't match up quite to what he was telling them.
Right. So he's leaving some things out.
Exactly. They also know because of the GPS that Sameena did not drive to David's house.
Right. She got in the car at like a muster point away from his house and went into Roger's car.
And they went there together.
Yeah. So how did he get her car?
That is the question, isn't it, Bev?
Seems like it.
So because of this, detectives know they need to get inside David's house. They need to figure out what went on. They need the specifics.
This is a supposed crime scene, and we need evidence.
Exactly. And so when they did get there, what they found were the snacks and bottle of Bellini that Sameena had purchased. They also found her sat-nav in David's loft.
Now, what the fuck is a sat-nav?
Navigation system?
Oh.
Satellite?
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it stands for Satellite Navigation System. A sat-nav.
Wow. I mean, that makes perfect sense. You're probably 100% right. Okay, carry on.
On top of that, detectives actually received a tip from a friend of David's who had given her a key to his shed on his allotment, which is just a little piece of land that he can do whatever he wants with.
So he gave a key to one of his friends.
Mm-hmm. And this key is actually for a shed that is on his allotment. This shed, this is eerie as shit, Bev. The shed had a sign and it said, "Don't wind me up. I'm running out of places to hide bodies."
Ooh. Oh my God.
Weird, right?
Especially considering I'm thinking this is a shed that's holding a dead body.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah, creepy, right? Now, it's not known when he put that sign there.
But still.
Creepy nonetheless, right?
Creepy. Like, insane foreshadowing.
Yeah, seriously. And so the detectives obviously take a look around, and what they find is that there is a fresh dirt pile that had kind of been pat down. It had leaves in the center of it, so it obviously had been uprooted for some reason. Because of this, the detectives actually call an archaeologist to come in to help search for
Exhume
a body and look for one. They searched his property for about 4 days, and then they found the outside edge of a sleeping bag. They lifted the flap, and immediately they knew who they had found. Sameena.
Oh, of course. With the sleeping bag, so at least that part of his story was truthful.
Yeah, the chloroform.
The sleeping bag.
All true. On January 7th, 2015, brothers Roger and David Cooper were arrested on suspicion of murder. 2 days later, they were formally charged. By October 21st, 2015, both brothers were found guilty of murder.
In the first degree, I'm guessing.
Yes, and unanimously by the jury. Both men are serving 30-year sentences for their planned and horrendous crime.
Wow. I mean, they definitely deserve that. But damn. What a fucked up decision. Just because she gave him an ultimatum. Like, she did give him the ultimatum that he could just leave her. Wouldn't that just be an easy answer? Like, everyone seemed to know about their affair anyways.
Well, exactly. Was he so naive in thinking that she didn't tell a single soul and that no one knew?
Obviously,
he was.
You
can tell when people are boning.
Yeah, you can. The flirtatious looks, the flirtatious touch, caress of a forearm.
The little,
you know?
You can see it.
The blushing cheeks.
The compliments.
Yeah, like
everything. You can just tell. I feel that this murder was for virtually no reason. Like senseless. You said, it was senseless. He could have just got out of the relationship. Yeah, she'd be sad. Maybe you lost your job, but you lost your job and now you're in jail. You lost your freedom. And you probably lost your other 2 girlfriends as well. You lost everything.
Yeah.
What the fuck were you thinking?
Obviously, he didn't think it through enough. And unfortunately, a woman lost her life. May she rest in peace.
Amen, sister. Well, Bev, that is all I have for this case. Thanks for listening.
Thanks for sharing.